Hey, fellow comic collectors, this is Joe from Doc Cop Comics, and today I'm doing my third YouTube video. This video is going to entail my top raw Bronze Age comics, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's a quite extensive list of books I got here, and I try to collect mainly keys, high-grade keys, and I'm looking forward to showing them off and letting you get a gander at them. Anyway, I hope you guys leave a comment, you subscribe, and you hit that like button. Without further ado, let's start it out with Amazing Spider-Man 121. Of course, the death of Gwen Stacy. Big book, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Next up, we have Ghost Rider #1. This is a VF- condition. I'm still on the hunt for a Marvel Spotlight 5. Next up, we have a Jungle Action #5, and this is first in the series run with the Black Panther, his first series. I have this in 8.5 condition, and it's pretty hard to find this book not soiled. It wasn't a sought-after book until the movie had come out. Next up, I have first appearance of the Defenders in Marvel Features #1. I love this cover. I mean, look at the Submariner jumping off the screen there. And this book I have in a 7.5 condition, but it's definitely a solid book. Next up, we have Marvel Premiere #1 with The Warlock. And this book is gonna do nothing but go up. This is again a tough book to find. The black border on these books, you always find the spine ticks. You can see this book is really clean. I had this one graded at a approximately an 8.0, 7.5 to an 8.0. And we have a Howard the Duck. This is a 9.0 condition Howard the Duck. #1, and of course you get Spidey appearance in this one. Next up, I got, believe it or not, this is not the easiest book to find in good condition. This I have in a 9.2 condition. This is Marvel 2-in-1, Thing and the Man Thing, #1. Very nice book. Speaking of Man-Thing, I have Adventures into Fear #10. This is the start of the series with Man-Thing and Adventures to Fear. And I love that cover art. It's amazing. That red just pops. Next up is The Cat #1. And again, this is another book that's kind of obscure. It's kind of hard to find in good condition. I have this in a 7.5 condition. So a VF-. Again, the yellow and the black. It's just really, really nice cover. And we have a Doctor Strange #1. And this is a 9.0 condition. And these books are out there. It's they're getting up there in price, but I'm happy to say I got this one at an affordable price. This next book is starting to really jump. This is a Marvel Spotlight #32, First Spider-Woman. And I have this in a 9.0 condition. Next up is Defenders 10. And this is just an iconic Thor versus Hulk cover. The artwork is amazing, this cover. And I just love this book. And again, this is another one that's not that easy to find in higher grades, especially raw. Next up is Iron Fist #1. This is unfortunately only a 7.5 condition. I'm looking for a better grade, but it still presents very well. Now we have Giant-Sized Creatures, featuring Werewolf by Night. This is actually the introduction to Tigra. Okay, and this is all connected with the Black Cat. And next up is Supervillain Team Up #1. Interesting enough, this book came out after Supervillain Team Up Giant Size #1. So keep that in mind. That's also a book that's getting harder to find. It's definitely, these books are harder to find in good condition. They weren't always collectible. Next up is Creatures on the Loose with the Man-Wolf. And then, again, this is the start of the series with Man-Wolf's own title in Creatures on the Loose. And this is number 30. Great cover. Next up is Giant Size Superheroes #1 with Spider-Man. And on this cover you got the Man-Thing and Morbius. And what I like about this, and I've mentioned this in past videos, is I got a date stamp on here. I love the date stamps. They give a little bit of iconicness to these comics. Next up, again, another book hard to find in great condition is Giant Size Chillers #1. And this is the first appearance of Lilith, Dracula's daughter. And this is in really high grade. This I have at 9.0 condition. Next up is Red Sonja #1. And again, just a great cover. And again, there's the debate of when's her first appearance. Was it Conan 23 or 24? And it depends on who's grading your book, but in my opinion, it's 23. This book's in VF condition, by the way. Next up is the first appearance of the Invaders in Avengers #71. And this is a beautiful book. This is a VF Plus condition, which is an 8.5. Next up, I have Astonishing Tales #1, Kazar and Doctor Doom. And this book is creeping up slowly due to the Doctor Doom title. Next is Amazing Adventures #1. This is the Inhumans in their own title, and the Black Widow as well. This is back then when they separated the book into two different storylines. And this is in good condition. This is an 8.0 condition book. And it's pretty hard to find this book as wide as this is. Next up, I have a Mark Jewelers variant, Amazing Adventures #11. This is the Beast when he gets his fur, and it's very presentable. It's I have this at a 7.0 to a 7.5, but it's a beautiful book. I love this cover, and again, another book that's tough to find in great condition. This one I just scored this week. This is and this is based upon a something I heard on one of Thoro's content videos. And this is the Incredible Hulk #234. This is the first appearance of Quasar, who's going to be coming out in the movie soon. And this is near mint. This is about a 9.4 condition. Next up is, I mentioned earlier, Giant Size Supervillain Team Up #1. This is technically the first appearance of these two guys, Namor and Doctor Doom, teaming up. And this is in an 8.5 condition. And again, great art, great cover art. Next up is Detective Comics #441. And this is an underrated book. This is actually the first appearance of Harvey Dent. Not Harvey Dent. Bullock, Detective Bullock. And again, this is a tough book to find due to the fact that it's a prestige book, which are those thicker books. They call them prestige. And this is a 100-page book, and this is graded as a fine. Next up, I have Rom, Space Knight #1, and this is near mint. And this Shogun Warrior #1. This is near mint as well. And in the same theme, I have Micronauts #1. This is near mint minus. Next up, I picked this book up from Roman on one of the auctions, Uncle Roman, and this is 2001: A Space Odyssey #8. And this, of course, is the first appearance of the Machine Man. There's some good Kirby art. Next up, I have a Black Panther #1, and this is in an 8.5 to 9.0 condition. And again, it's pretty accessible. The books are out there. You can find this book. I'm happy with this condition now. Next up is the Eternals #1. I got this. This is actually a Hilltop pedigree issue, and I have this graded at a VF plus, and it's definitely a clean book, and I'm happy to have this one. Next up is Kazar #1, and this is just a great cover. There's Zabu with Kazar riding him, and again, this is a tough book because it's a prestige book. It's the thicker books, and it's very tough to find one in this condition. I have this as an 8.5. Next up is Luke Cage #24, and this is the first appearance of Black Goliath. And I have this at 9.0 condition. And again, this red cover just really pops. Those earlier Luke Cages are great reads as well. And I have to sprinkle in a little DC, even though, make mine Marvel. So I got a Supergirl #1. This is a beautiful condition book. It's a great cover. I have this at a 9.0. And it's a great cover. And again, I love when the costumes or the clothing depicts the era when the comic was drawn and written. Next up is Marvel Premiere #47. This is the first appearance of the new Ant-Man, Scott Lang. And this is a solid 9.0. Next up is The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu #17. Now, what's interesting about this book is this is technically Master of Kung Fu #1. This book continued after Special Marvel Edition #15 and 16. Then they went into the new title of Master of Kung Fu #17. So this is technically like a #1. This is in a VF condition. Next up, I did show you this. I have this slabbed in 9.6, but I also have a nice raw copy here. This is a 9.0, and again, a great comic. Can't get enough of those. Next up, we have our first appearance of Howard the Duck in Adventures into Fear #19. This I have at, I graded this book at a 7.5. Again, I love the Man-Thing books, were so well written. And I'm going to finish it off with the DC. This is Man-Bat #1, not the first appearance, but Man-Bat #1 in his own title. And that will conclude my top Bronze Age Raw books. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. And with that said, hope you lock up some grails and keys in the future, and please be safe.